Yes, I do. I think it's quite difficult to make a distinction between being European and being a citizen of European Union at the moment. Mm, this is something that, for me personally, is very easy to combine. So the core principles that I have, so freedom, liberty, rule of law, dialogue, and compromise are some of the same ideas that the European Union has, and therefore, by believing in those by believing in those core ideas, I am also European, nevertheless of my citizenship and nevertheless of my country of origin, nevertheless of my education. This is what is more associated with who I am. In the last 4 years, I've lived in 4 different European countries and I studied in 3 of them. So once you move somewhere to live there for longer than 2 or 3 months, you start thinking about some basic standards that you need to have. So, for example, access to public healthcare, freedom of movement, ability and permissions to join the labor force. And in each of those countries, it was quite simple and quite easy for me to have the same rights and standards that citizens of that country have. And I didn't have to worry that if something bad happens, especially in terms of health, I would be left alone, because that's the European Union for me. For me is the trade deal, or the finalization of the trade deal between the European Union and China. I strongly disagree that we can make a distinction between business and how the country is conducting if we metaphorically speak of them as people. China is not a person I would like to have business with. It's the Chinese government is violating human rights. The Chinese government is spying on its people. The Chinese government does not have the same core principles as I do. And it seems like there is a dual thinking when we conduct business in the European Union, especially in terms of almost totalitarian regimes like China, Russia. It's just puzzles me, and I strongly disagree that we can say, okay, doing business with you is great, but we cannot see what is going on inside. If we talk about grand things, I strongly believe that expansion of the European Union in 2004. However, it was so long ago, it's quite difficult for me to even comprehend it because I was so young back then. But if we talk about recent things and, for example, how European Union reacted to COVID-19 pandemic, I can see, and it touches me personally, that the European Union can work together and at the same time can have bold ideas if we go one step forward with e-health ideas of the European Union. And it's quite interesting for me because if we have data standardization and if we have data sharing among European countries and the different actors within healthcare, the next pandemic will be over in not a year or 2 or 4, but maybe in 6 months or 3 months, because we'll have so much data to work on. I was able to use Erasmus Plus funds to have an internship abroad, and it allowed me to be with my partner. And without those funds and without working for a startup in Italy, I wouldn't be able to be with someone who I love. So personally, it gave me a lot of safety, and it gave me the reason to jump forward to uncharted territory with my partner. By 2030, I would like European Union to be something more than glorified trade bloc. I strongly believe in more European Union as, for example, European Army, European healthcare, European social system, European code of conduct, common rules and laws that apply to all member states equally. I believe something similar to maybe United States of America as EU. I definitely think as a citizen now, I don't really know and understand what's the reason to have European diplomacy if the High Commissioner of Foreign Affairs cannot really make any policies. And because at the end, only the big players speak as the whole EU at the table.